So Colleen Bertino, in the last week, I've had a flourish of people asking me, oh my gosh, Kelly, I found the Great Northern Sexcast. So what is it like? It's funny. And how did it all get started? So it's been a really long time, Megan, since we've talked about this. And Colleen, I wanted you to kind of set our mission statement up again.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, why are we here again?
Well, the addendum to that, we'll just start with that one. It's a crap ton of fun. Okay, so
well, there's that.
Yeah, so we'll get that out of the way. I had an idea that it might be, but I wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. But of course, I was contacted, by the folks at Alive and Social when they were putting together the network over a year ago, and we're talking about, do you want to advertise? Do you want to do this? And then it sort of morphed into, how about a show?
Yeah.
That's where that went. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And then, we had to. I said, well, we just talk about stuff, in a fun way, in a serious way, and we're like, well, and everyone's like, well, what would we talk about every week? And I said, you forget that when we do stuff every day, that it's ordinary to us, but it's not ordinary to other people. And we see a lot of news things. We see things come across that we do have opinions on because of what we do.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to share that. And, we're like, pun semi-intended, we wanted to make sure it wasn't masturbatory theater.
Right.
Just going through there. Awesome. But then it occurs to me that if you've got almost everybody out there who does a podcast is promoting themselves.
Yeah.
So, I got to get over that Minnesota, I'm not good enough mindset and say, screw it. I'm going to go out there and have an opinion.
Well,
and then, Sean managed to put us together, and it's been a year, and I think it's been working out really well. And I'm pretty sure the office staff didn't know how much they were going to get roped into this, but we didn't really know what we were going to. But it's been a really nice platform to demystify some of the stuff that comes across folks' social media feeds, because this is where we find a lot of stuff.
Oh my God, yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and they're like, is that real? Is it going through there? Is this actually happening? Is this bullshit? You don't
And
know.
you can say that on a podcast?
Yeah, you can. It is nice because you can. I've been a guest in a few radio programs, here in town, and eons ago, my mom was on a guest on a local afternoon TV show and stuff, but you don't really. When you're using euphemism after euphemism, you just don't. It just becomes silly. Mm-hmm. It's hard to have a serious conversation. If you, this was long before you could say penis or vagina on TV. Mm-hmm. You can say these things now, but you still can barely say them on the radio.
Oh, for sure. No,
I never hear it. I always hear vajayjay or something, and I'm like, just say vagina.
Well, I think it's fun because we occasionally will talk about products, but I like it because we're talking about stuff that I would not have known was out there. Or even if I would have walked in, when I do walk into the stores, I don't necessarily see that. But we don't sell sex toys here. That is not what we do on the Great Northern Sexcast. We talk about all things sex because let's just be honest, just about everything is somehow connected to it.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it's been really good here too because a lot of folks are trying to figure out. Sexuality is just fine, and using sexuality in advertising has been happening for years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
But how is it being used? When is it being exploitive? When is it being funny? There's a lot of different ways, and some people just can't handle the idea of using sex for anything. And the pendulum's going to swing one way, and then other folks, you're like, yeah, some advertisements are a little, incredibly sexist. Where's the, trying to find that line mm-hmm. is really difficult. And it's always been an interesting thing for us because we can't use sex to sell sex. We have to use humor.
Right.
And everybody else uses
sex. See, that is so fucked up. Mm-hmm.
And it's been sort of fun. So it's been nice. It just with the way that everything's been in media lately, it's been really fun to be able to try and, dissect some of this stuff. Out there. Some people are like, what, yeah, I'm sponsoring it. Yeah, I'm talking about it. Yeah, I have stores. But, what is the philosophy behind that? Because I think people are, want to know who's behind where they're putting their money.
Well, not only that, but they want to know that probably maybe as a customer of Fantasy Gifts, it's like who else is coming in and buying and that they're part of something that's way more normal and way bigger than they probably even realized. And I like that part of it.
Yeah, not having to be ashamed of what you're doing, that they're not alone. I mean, when you've been around in business for 36 years, it's, obviously there's more than just, one person listening shopping. That's how that works. We wouldn't be here. But,
it's not just you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Megan.
whatever you bought, you're not the only one.
That had to go through a lot of steps before it made it to the shelf.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. Well, good. I just wanted to kind of reset that. You guys, we have so many fun people coming in here over the next couple of weeks. Next week, we're going to talk to Miss Angela, and she is a pole dancing diva, and she teaches it. There's going to be a big contest. She's going to come in and hang out with us next week. We've got burlesque people coming in. We've got a fantastically gifted comedian that's going to come and talk about, sex and comedy and how weird that is, and he's super fun. So a lot of great stuff coming up, but as usual, we cannot, help ourselves but to talk about all the stuff that happened in the week of sex. So
yeah, there's always plenty.
Oh my. This week was a treasure trove, I'm not going to lie. Watch now, nothing will be funny, right? Now that I say that. But no, okay, so J-Lo, I'm going to preface this whole thing by saying I'm a fan. I don't necessarily like her music or agree with everything that she's done, but I think she's she's exquisite. I mean, really. And she can do the chick flick fluff stuff. She can sing, she can I'm just completely enchanted by this woman. Okay.
And she produces her own stuff. So I have to admire the business person in her.
And I think she's so pretty, and she's, I don't care if she's got a big butt. I think she's got a gorgeous body. And Cindy Crawford, I still will never forgive Cindy Crawford for the rest of my life for making this really shitty remark about J-Lo. I'd be embarrassed to be seen with that butt. And it's like, well, you're a bitch. Mm-hmm. And by the way, there's things that can remove that stupid mole. Thank you and have a nice day. But J-Lo's response back was, all the women in my family are built like this, like, get over it. And she just, like, right off her back like a duck. And see, I love her even more for that.
Oh, now that means that I should have sent this over to you, but I couldn't find the original posting where women with large butts are more intelligent. Woohoo!
Oh, sweet! Woo! Who knew?
I'm in trouble.
That's it's okay, Megan. What you lack in booty, you make up for in wit.
That's what I've been telling people my whole life. It doesn't work. I got a great personality, I swear.
Not everybody can be a Kardashian. So no, but she had a wardrobe malfunction, and the video of it is out there on the web. And she's wearing this crazy. She had to have been sewn into this thing in the first place, but it's this crazy sequined, cool. It's nude with sparkles thing, and she's dancing.
I love those things.
Yeah, she looks awesome in it. Oh yeah, and she's dancing, and she finishes the number, and she does the deep bow, and her butt splits. And you know what? She doesn't bat a freaking eyelash. And trust me. She had to know that it happened. She just stood right up, finished the curtain call, and sauntered on off. And it's like, whatever, and all you could see was just pink skin. But it's just the fact that her pants split. And she was like, whatever. So it's pretty good.
Well, she'll laugh about it all the way to the bank. So
right.
The same thing I saw. No, nothing was shown, but I saw a video of Britney Spears in her Las Vegas show. And she was wearing a bodysuit, and it was a zipper. And the zipper failed, and it went all the way down. You could see a little butt crack, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
During the entire, it happened at the beginning of the number, and her backup dancer spent the entire number
trying to zip her up,
and she just keeps going. She's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, show must go on, but she just went. They tried. The zipper's busted, and then obviously, I'm not sure what happened. Someone in the audience was filming this, and it just, the joys of the internet, you can see that. But she goes, no, she just kept going. She's like, no, I got a show.
Good for her.
Well, and also if she stopped, she would have lost her place in the backing vocal track and would be able to
come on now.
catch back up on the lip sync. So
come on now. So yeah, no, but I watched it and I'm like, you know what? You're a pro. You're still freaking diva. I love it. So yeah. So guys, there's some. We're going to talk about some of this later. There's a really interesting campaign that we'll talk about dealing with consent to really kind of bring home, hey, no means no. And it's compelling stuff. We'll put links up to it on the Facebook page. Miss Megan, I know you'll do that later, but there's a couple of things. Okay. Let's start it off with a doctor in New York, Mount Sinai Hospital, right in the middle of New York City.
Okay.
Basically, a woman went into the emergency room with serious shoulder pain. He gave her extra morphine, masturbated, and ejaculated in her face, but she was not out enough to not know, and she Monica Lewinsky'd and saved some of the semen, and he turned himself in, and a second accuser has since stepped forward. The hospital has completely taken him off the roster. However, they can't comment because it's a police investigation, and it's like, wow, proof that massive amounts of schooling doesn't cure a mental illness possibly that he has, or a predatory instinct.
No, definitely. I mean, in some ways it makes it worse. There's a lot of studies that show that with people who are true kind of like psychopaths and sociopaths, that doctors and surgeons are one of the top-ranked professions. The idea of
because of the
power,
the bravado that they have that gets them there, and that whatever the makeup, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I think that kind of translates to politicians too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not being funny.
If
I mean
you're
it.
egotistical enough, you have to have an
Narcissistic.
ego to believe you can save lives.
Right.
And so that ego can translate into really nasty and apparently sticky ways,
Ejoc doc.
unfortunately.
So we'll be calling him David Newman, Dr. David Newman, the Ejoc doc until further notice, until he is prison doc.
Yeah, well, see, that's what's fascinating is that it's going through there, and she did, get a DNA sample and stuff like that. But again, here's one of the things where we don't really know. I mean, it's out there. It's all this sort of stuff. It's things been going through there, and it gets you're like, folks have been doing this for years, and what's fascinating is that the folks that are doing stuff like this, they can be caught so much easier now, and so I think folks are going to get to the idea that there's even like more creeps out there. I don't think there's more creeps out there. I think it's just easier to catch them now.
It's the same idea where the streets are getting more dangerous every day for children. It's like, I don't think there's more pedophiles or more kidnappings, or it's just publicized more.
Yeah, and I mean, in fact, it's we're the safest we've ever been.
Probably.
When it comes to a lot of if you look at all the stats out there, but the culture of fear out there, I think, has been, possibly the culture of fear is using more than the culture of sex to sell things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, for God's sake, have you guys seen the commercial where the dad's trying to be hip and talk to his daughter? He's taking her to school and the car stops him from hitting somebody because it stopped itself because he wasn't paying attention. Have you seen that one? It's for the automatic, cars are going to start driving for us now. We're not going to be doing this much longer, just FYI.
Oh,
but
good. I can barf in the car when it's driving.
Or if a bee gets to you and you can just like, okay, the car's got this. I'm going to have a meltdown.
Yeah, I don't like the flying things in the car. No, that's bad.
No, very bad. Especially if you have a tendency towards anaphylactic shock like I do, so it's an issue. No, but in other non-consent news and on a slightly less dark level, this completely cracked me up because I'm a personal space freak. And National Hug Day was on January 21st. And there's this whole article written about how it's torture for people that don't like indiscriminate hugging. And of course there's national days for like freaking everything, right? And this is a pretty damn funny thing, but I want to know why there's not National Close Talker Day, to torture me with that, or National Ram Your Grocery Cart Against My Ass in the Checkout Line thing because, you want it to go faster day.
No, what you need is National Positive Affirmation from an Appropriate Distance Day.
Thank you. Can we make that? Because, I found out how you get a national day. Do you guys know I actually researched this? It's like $1,500. Anybody can do it. There's a place. You pay the money. You get your national day.
Well, this came up the other day because I was saying I think we need more hugs. And I think, and I said, no. And I said, wait a minute. For those folks who don't like hugs, we could have a positive affirmation from an appropriate distance.
I like consensual hugging, but I don't like it's like when you're a kid. Like, it's funny. Remember, Colleen? I'm sorry, Megan, you're excluded right now. When we were kids, Colleen, we were forced to hug creepy relatives, whether we wanted to or not. And now we don't force children to do that. There was a cheek pinching and all this crap, and it's like you're totally heaved out and your parents forced you to do it. Well, they finally figured out that maybe that's not a good idea. But back in the day, and that's where I kind of picked that up. I'm perfectly fine with somebody that kind of, does the permission, sort of the permission rock where you kind of rock back and forth and it's like, and there's the nod and then you go ahead and give the hug. I'm good. But don't just come and bear hug me. I'm like, completely freaks me out.
It is, because it is important to teach a kid from a very young age that their body is theirs. And If you don't want to hug mom or dad or grandma or aunt or uncle, or you don't have to.
Right.
Because then later on, you're like, okay, well, but you told me I had to do it.
Right. No, see,
learning your own personal space is incredibly important.
For sure. No, and I think that's actually how that finally, many kids were relieved from very, very, very scary stuff. Colleen, you sent me this, and I watched the video. Oh my God, the Dicture Gallery, the Dick photographer in New York. Oh my God, her name. She has a really interesting name. It's Soraya Dulbaz, and I think it goes by so quick. I think she's from Iran originally. Or Iraq. I'm not sure. It's one of those Middle Eastern companies. Anyway, this video is absolutely flat hysterical. And she's this kind of stunning, classy, and she's like, yeah, I'm single and I'm dating and my girlfriends and I always got dick pics. And I finally started saying, I'm a professional photographer. What if I was taking these? Oh. So she started it, and it all came about through women bringing their guys in and doing the fluffing and then whatever. Well, you should see the wardrobe of costumes that she has for these and the different pictures. And they tried to make it safe for work as much as they can, but they showed sort of, okay, there's no face, it's a dick. But but they're sort of blurred out like they would be on a, they're funnier than hell. And now she's down in this, like one of the biggest international art shows in the world in Miami, getting $10,000 for her big
decorated dick pics.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I love that story.
Yeah, good for her for sure.
But the one that kills me, if you watch this video and the link will be up, is the one that's made up to look like a Hasidic Jew with the hat and the little side curls. It's fantastic.
They are pretty adorable.
It's for sure. I saw the article. I saw the article and I read it and I saw it. I missed the fact that there was a video, but I was just looking on my phone when I saw it, so that's probably why.
Oh, you got to watch the video because they actually show tastefully, I might add, some video of the girlfriends coming in and doing the fluffing, and then her God, she's on chairs.
I know, yeah, that's the picture I saw where she's trying to get this, bird's eye view of the penis.
Yeah,
it's just totally entertaining me to know it.
And I'm kind of impressed with these guys because they're able to do what they need to do with all this commotion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of funny.
Well, I suppose some of them might really enjoy the extra commotion. Could be a plus.
Well, one of her kind of regular models, they interview him, and it's hysterical because he's sitting there naked. So they have his, instead of having the microphone clipped to his lapel, it's just taped to his bare chest, which I'm like, okay, that's funny stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about, hey, you know what? When it comes to photo erotica, guys are left out in the cold because there's still that stigma that the male body is dirtier and or not attractive.
Yeah, or it's or it's gay.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot because there's not a lot of art out there because when I was decorating my house, some people like landscapes and some people like oceanscapes. I think the human body is really good art.
I do too.
So I'm looking for male nudes because it was really easy to find art and portraitures that was female. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, equal opportunity nudity, I think.
Right.
And I'm Googling, and I ended up finally but all I'm finding is Tama Findlin and a whole bunch of other things. It's a lot of it's out there, but a lot of it is, it's once again, it's for the male gaze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of stuff for women. That's getting better. But I ended up finding an artist. It was a South African artist that had some paintings in a French gallery. And, just wired some money and I got my art. It was spectacular. But it was really hard to find. I mean, it's out there, but I think what the guy was saying is that trying to find, it was very pigeon-holed. Male nudity, male eroticism is really relegated to freak stuff, as people used to call it, stuff like that, or fringes versus just a beautiful male body. I think who's the gentleman that's photographing the vets?
Oh yes, yeah. Michael Stokes.
He's bringing male eroticism, I think, into this century.
Really?
To just, it's beautiful, beautiful pictures.
He's on Facebook. Check him out. You want to see some really hot guys. And it is really cool. Like you said, he works a lot with vets as well.
Yeah,
But the problem I have with this guy's statement is, I don't see how putting a hat and jacket on your dick is going to make it not funny.
Well, see,
it's not erotic.
I mean, when they show the shot of all of her little costume wardrobe there, and the little wigs are sitting there, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, maybe that's what he needed to go through there. That he, his explanation, or everything's taken, can be taken out of context too. You don't really, you're just reading something. But I would say that really until the past 10 years, most male nude art was very niche.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's really fun seeing the fact that you can celebrate all human bodies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely pretty cool, but I don't know that it would be the new wave of like erotic.
Well, the thing that I think is funny is that in terms of male nudes, the line between it being tasteful and not was always seemed to be delineated at whether or not you saw junk. Mm-hmm. Like it was their butt, their body, their physique, but no penis. Mm-hmm. And now I think we're finally starting to get past the fact that no, we all like the penis, or there's a lot of us who do.
See, I don't know. That's that's my other issue with the that guy's statement, and is like I guess I'm just falling into stereotypes, but I think penises are funny looking. They're just kind of funny looking. They're not. I don't look at a penis and go like, "Oh my god, that's so hot! I want that." I'm like, "You little penis." And then if it's got a hat and a wig on, are you kidding me?
Okay, let's take the hat and the wig thing out of it. Isn't there a certain time where there's maybe there's a great shot of a hot guy, and you can see the penis? Doesn't that make you kind of go?
It's not the penis, I guess, that's doing it. It's all the rest of the guy that's doing it.
Okay.
But I should find too. There's a guy on Tumblr who does. What is it called? Shit My Dick Does, I think.
Oh, God, when I'm not looking, we talked about this.
Oh, yes.
Week that you're,
the baking one.
Oh, my God,
yes.
The baking picture is absolutely, it's like it's baking cookies when he's asleep.
Yeah, and it's like flour, covered in flour.
Those are great.
Yeah, because there is a double standard, because you can have a lot of full female frontal nudity in movies, and it's just R, but the minute you even get a flaccid penis, they're going to NC-17.
Oh, God.
And there's a little bit, or really R. I mean, there are some movies out there where guys, with nudity, but it's not. In Trainwreck, you had the illusion of nudity when John Cena had a towel over his erection in the scene, which was hilarious. But still, but it wasn't but you didn't see his penis.
Right.
And that wasn't going to be a movie where you're going to see a lot of not a lot of nudity anyway. But I think they're getting to the point where a little bit more equality in, if this person, if you can look at a female crotch shot and it's R, then why would a male crotch shot be an NC-17? I mean, or the fact that if male nipples are fine to see on Facebook, why aren't female nipples? Everyone's questioning a lot of the stuff that we've just been shoved, been force fed as the body is evil, the body is blah, the body. No, I'm sorry, but bodies are not obscene.
No,
I'm sorry, they're just not.
Did your light bulb go away, or do you remember what you wanted to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I actually watched a movie last night with 2 male penises. But I do believe they were, at least one of them was prosthetic. So I think that it is getting better. But there is a lot of prosthetics because I watched this movie called The Overnight. It's actually, I was maybe going to tweet about it. It's kind of interesting. It's this couple moved to LA and they end up at another couple's house for like a play date. And then it turns into like who's playing with who kind of date. And it's like this comedy about that. But it has Jason Schwartzman and Adam Scott. And there's a scene where both of them are naked, like dancing around, dicks a flapping away. And I know that for sure, though, I believe I had heard that both of them were prosthetics because Jason Schwartzman's was really big. Adam Scott's, his character's was that he had a tiny penis.
Okay.
So it was this tiny little, like, it was like the width of a pencil, just kind of flopping around in this giant bush that I assume they had to make to
talking like
hide his actual. But yeah, it was this huge pubic bush to hide his actual penis. Yes, a man merkin, and then some.
A man merkin. Well, watch Game of Thrones. Good God.
Spartacus, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
You want to see some hot naked male bodies? Spartacus.
okay.
Yeah, I got rid of cable a little bit after that. I think that went off the air, but the violence was so disturbing for me. I could not get around to the nudity.
I love
and
it.
then the fact is, there's a child in the house, so that was one of the things I said. I don't need her running across this, so I'm like, and it was for the violence. I wouldn't. I'm like, once again, I don't think there's anything wrong with the body, but the violence was just so awful in that movie, that show.
Yeah. I tell everyone, they're like, "Oh, you like it?" I'm like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing! It's like blood porn, and porn, and also blood porn,
And it's just porn. Well, let's go to Oregon for a minute.
Okay. Well,
And-
we've been on the East Coast, a little
Let's
West
move-
Coast
let's-
love.
Come on, equal time. Dick bags for douchebags. Colleen, once again, this comes probably, I'm sure, courtesy of one of your insomniac moments with the militant guy protesting like everything about the U.S. government and camping out and begging for supplies to help him fight this preposterous war in his own head. And long story short, people are sending him bags of dildos, and it is beyond hysterically funny.
Yeah, I mean, I know it ran through little feeds, but it just keeps coming back because people they won't stop sending stuff.
So
they're
funny.
sending the porn and dildos. The owner of Cards Against Humanity sent a 55-gallon drum of lube, because the one thing I saw when I was looking at all this stuff, and a couple weeks ago, and I keep looking, is that all of these sex toys and no lube. And that's just, you really, we've talked a lot about how lubrication is very important. And so I've just, it really sent like a $1,300 or more 55-gallon thing of lube off of Amazon.
Fantastic.
And then snapped a picture of it. And I think, not too much has been going on over there. I think they've had their 15 minutes. I mean, they're still there, but folks moved on to the blizzard.
Right. But see, what I think is hilarious about this is that I think that, okay, you had a bunch of old sex toys dropped off. We talked about this a couple weeks ago at the warehouse. And I think maybe there might be a place for old retired sex toys, and they could be repackaged as political statements to send out against people, to people who bug you. And that could be the social activism area of fantasy gifts. I'm just saying, it's an election year, guys. Why not send dick bags to all the douchebags?
Yeah,
We'd run out of dicks.
Right? There aren't enough dicks.
It really was fascinating that all this happened about a week and a half after I had gone through all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just none of it was sellable. I tried,
Did
tried.
you want to send it?
And
Did you think about it?
I immediately thought about it and went, oh, and then I went, oh God, that weighs a lot, and I'm afraid, and I get sort of cheap sometimes.
Yeah.
So the practicality. I mean, if you're the CEO of Cards Against Humanity and you want to drop $1,300 and then plus additional shipping, because I know what it did. A 55-gallon drum of lube was going to take special delivery.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, fine. I'll leave it to the larger corporations.
Outstanding. So Milan Fashion Week, guys, this comes back to our nudity conversation. Okay. So this is funny stuff. Vivienne Westwood is, I think, just a gifted, amazing, and somewhat avant-garde designer. And in Milan, they really, I think, do more crazy stuff than they even do in New York Fashion Week here. But on the catwalk, and you guys really have to look at this. We've got to put this on the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page. The penis jewelry. I mean, amazing penis jewelry. But here's the thing that made me laugh. Guys were wearing it. And I mean, this stuff, I got to tell you, is gorgeous.
It's jewelry shaped like penises,
or
jewelry on your penis?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's basically like necklaces and stuff like this. And I mean, aren't they cool?
It's a straight up dick pendant.
I mean, and they're big, and they're big, but it's like, God, I almost kind of want to wear that, except I don't.
Right.
They're so neat looking though.
I'm not sure the practical, that'd be something you'd wear to, I guess maybe Ground Zero or the Gay 90s, but maybe
I
not
bet you
out
could
and
wear.
about
Yeah. I
in
mean,
town.
there's been a lot going on because you just in all of the times you want people to feel welcome some places, and you want sexuality to be more open, and sometimes these two things hit each other. Because what might be empowering to someone could be threatening to someone else.
Oh, for sure.
So if you had, you could be empowered by wearing a big dick penis, and then someone else who would have been sexually assaulted could be freaked out by that.
Right.
And so there's going to be a lot of stuff as these two things, I think, are hitting each other.
For sure.
We're going to have to figure that out. And you have to sort of, and you should err a little bit on the side of the person that's freaked out.
Yeah.
Now, that person should work on becoming less freaked out. I'm not saying, but sometimes you're like, okay, maybe this isn't the good place for the big dick penis.
I do get, wanting to be more open with sexuality as a whole. But I also understand why I probably shouldn't be wearing a 4-inch giant penis around my neck out in public. I think there is definitely a line.
God, they're so artfully done.
It's so
and the way that the chains and the way that they're oh God, here's a bad word, mounted.
Right.
They are so neat.
Are you saying they're well hung?
Yes, I am. They are just. Seriously, the craftsmanship in these things are amazing.
I did a fashion show one year where it was a robot fashion show. So the models were robots, and it was fashion for robots.
Perfect.
And obviously the robots wanted to be more human. So I had one designer who made these really cool scarves it was like a giant penis scarf. And there was another one with boobs on the end of it, because that's what they imagined fashion for robots would be. But it was
awesome.
I was kind of like, what are you doing with that scarf after the show? That thing's pretty sweet. I'm sure it ended up, or similar items have ended up on Regretsy, but.
Did you find it, Colleen?
Oh, I found it.
Yeah, aren't they cool? They are super cool. We'll post these on Great Northern Sex.
I really like the silver one more than the gold one.
I know, but there's 10 or 12 of them.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just killer. But again, like I said, the way they're mounted are just amazing.
Why is this guy wearing a silver trash bag?
Unclear.
Because it's a fashion show. There's a lot of runway stuff that does not translate. I personally would love to see those spewing rhinostones out of the end of it or something. A little more bling.
Glitter?
Glitter.
Swartzy it up or
Glitter
something.
spew. Okay, awesome. Well, next up, still in the same vein, so to speak, and not unlike our dick pic queen, Lilo, major supplier. You guys work with Lilo, right? They have some.
We're pretty much going to be special ordering at this point, but
okay.
yeah. We're familiar with the company.
Okay, so they now have a costume for penis. It's a tuxedo named Tux. And this is the Stockholm-based sex products company, again, that you guys are going to be offering mostly online. But again, it was the CEO said, look, you know what? There's women's sexy lingerie, clothing, whatever, nothing for guys. So I saw it. It's cute. It's made out of satin and all of that, and it's getting, really good reviews. But, how long can you have it on? Because you can't put it on until a certain point, and then at that point, how much time do you want to spend admiring it wearing a tux? I don't know.
Yeah, that would
be
funny. Tricky. I see even less of a shelf life than female lingerie for that. It's funny though. We do have something. We have the White Wedding Tuggy and the Leopard, the original Tuggy, which are I think they're called socks to warm your cocks. I believe
Perfect.
is the on the tagline for them. But the White Wedding one, it looks like a little what's
like
the
a
tuxedo thing. I'll have to find some, but yeah. So he's carrying something similar, but it's that at least you can keep. You don't have to be hard,
right?
Because that I imagine would be difficult.
It's like you get them hard so that you can put it on. You get it on there, and it's like, oh, hang on.
Yep. But then I feel all I would want to do is take pictures and oh my God, although the James Bond role play would be, I'm Bond, James Bond. I'll make you shaken, not stirred. That would be entertaining for sure.
Something to do. I mean, it's winter in Minnesota.
Oh, my boyfriend's in trouble. I'm coming home with a lot of
Coming
stuff.
home.
Fun little poncho.
Back in the 1970s, I mean, one of the first things that was in the store that my dad bought was a little hand knit penis and ball cover, a little crochet thing. And I'm sure that if you dig around at a novelty store, there's some leftover, a true novelty, there's some leftover penis warmers out there. I mean, so this concept has been around.
May I just say that the last thing that anybody wants to put their dick and balls in is something that looks like Granny made it.
And this one, and
you say,
and the thing was, and the best part was it was in the red, white, and blue yarn.
Oh yeah, or any of those multicolor yarns. Oh, so nasty looking.
If it looks like the Afghan on your couch from the 70s.
We have the one that I call.
Well, believe me, everything about this was from the 70s.
We have one I call the barf blanket. And it's like brown and purple and orange, and it's like Velveeta cheese meets burnt toast, and it's just hideous. But my mom's like, well, hang on to that, it's warm. We don't even know at this point which dead family member made this, okay? But it's like, hang on to it. Thank God Greta, the wood chipper mouth puppy, tore the crap out of it, and I finally got to throw it away. But it's like, they won't go away.
Yeah.
Because they never wear out.
Yeah.
Acrylic.
That's because of people like me. I went on I had a couple dates once with someone, and he came back to my house, and he walked in, and he was like, God, it looks like my grandma lives here.
Oh, ouch.
Like bright floral patterned couch and like owls everywhere. And I'm like, well, good. That's kind of what I was going for. I mean,
I inherited from both mostly from one grandmother, but some things from the other grandmother, a huge amount of lace doilies and runners. And I use them in my house.
That's okay.
And I have my other grandmother's. She would knit a blanket for every grandchild, and she actually passed away while
knitting one.
Knitting mine.
Oh,
well,
God.
she wasn't like doing it. Chicken killed her, but she was in the process of knitting mine and never got it. So we got that one. So my mom was able to find someone to finish that blanket. And then my other aunt and uncle, she given one to all of her sons and daughter-in-laws too, but they didn't have any children. She didn't know what to do with it. And then because I named my daughter after my grandmother, my aunt gave me the blanket, the Afghan that she crocheted for her. And I'm like, ah. But it's really old and it looks brand new. I mean, I have it next to the newer one, and yeah. That's why I'll have matching Afghans.
You do not get to say a chicken killed her, but anyway, and keep talking.
Oh, salmonella.
Okay. I thought we were dealing with an actual attack or something.
No,
I'm very sorry to hear about your loss.
No, if there's one thing that I will cook the hell out of it now, it is chicken. Okay. And I have a friend who's a poultry allergy, so you should see me when I cook chicken, and then my kitchen is bleached from one end to another when I'm done. I have some things about chicken.
I would too. That'll leave a mark.
I have some issues with chicken.
I don't
love the chicken, but you
come by it honestly. Just one last quick note. I thought this was funny. So it was National Bubble Wrap Day yesterday. Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day, to be specific. And you know how there's contests for prom dresses and tuxes out of duct tape, and then they win prizes and limousines and everything else. And they're pretty damn amazing what these kids do.
Oh, these are fat. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what they did was the Huffington Post actually commissioned, what was it? It was one of the art schools in New York. A couple of, the fashion schools and whatever, that's all centered out of there. I can't find it. But to make bubble wrap fashion, oh my God. And you get to pop stuff. But I mean, they have stuff with buttons on it. And oh my God, you guys, we'll put it up. Megan, you've got you're armed.
Well, I'll have to snap a picture. We've been getting stuff wrapped in, and they're like 1x2 or 18-inch by 30-inch sheets of solid green. And it looks like a quilted bubble wrap blanket. I keep looking at this stuff, and I'm like, I want to lay it down and take a nap on it.
Well, what's it for?
It's packing. It's like bubble wrap, but it's packing. But it's in these much larger sheets. It's in this green color, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, it looks like a binky, but it's fascinating. I'm like, why? I'm like, okay, I think there. I know there are people who probably don't like bubble wrap, but really, it is. It's a great thing. It's fascinating.
I'm imagining if they combined Bubble Wrap Day, National Bubble Wrap Day, with National Hug Day.
No, thank you. No, now you're freaking
Well, you'd
me out.
have that barrier, right?
would
And
have.
then every
Yes.
hug.
Okay.
Poof, 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 poof.
Well, I thought I heard
And I'm
that-
going, I'm hit.
that would be an excellent, yeah. That would be fun.
Okay, maybe next year. I'm gearing up on January 21st. Okay, two things we have to cover before the end of today. We've got other stuff, but it'll wait. There's two things. We got to talk about the penis switch, and there are 11 new sex slang terms that are not to be well. Not all of them are fabulous, but like 8 of the 11 are freaking fabulous.
Okay.
So okay,
I would like to learn something new.
these are pretty good. You millennials are funny little whippersnappers. I'll tell you that right now, Miss Megan.
LOL.
LOL. OMG. No, okay, so the penis switch. Colleen, you read this, right?
I read this and I found, a lot of people, you have to dig to find the original article because everyone just keeps taking bits and pieces and bits
Sure.
and pieces.
Yeah.
And someone, I guess it was like a carpenter, it wasn't like a scientist or someone. They're in Germany and they've figured out how to take a switch, insert it into the scrotum around all the appropriate plumbing, and then you can turn your sperm on and off. Now, mind you have to, once you turn it off, you've got to wait for 3 months because there's still stuff in there and going through there, and then you can turn it back on. And it sounds interesting because, someone could see whether or not it was, if you were in a long-term relationship, whether or not the switch was in the, but how would you know it was on there the whole time? Or
That's a good question.
it's not like there's a signal light, like a little red light, little green light on off. And then someone else, one of the scientists, were talking about they don't know about scarring, permanent scarring, and a bunch of other things. But I think the idea definitely has merit
I do too.
because a lot of the almost everyone I know at this point, male, has taken responsibility for in birth control in their families along with their partners and stuff like that. But for folks who are really freaked out about the idea mentally of not being able to procreate,
if they should ever want to.
just somehow that's wired that way, I can see that this it's another tool.
I saw a picture where someone is actually holding it, and it looks, in my opinion, and I don't own that particular type of plumbing, a little big for comfort to be inserted somewhere in your body right now. I think that look, with what we can do with a cell phone now, they can get that sucker smaller.
Right.
And maybe they can have a remote on or off switch to where, you know what I mean? And then that way you're not accidentally turning it back on.
If you could have an app for it, and so that you could see that it hadn't been turned back on, or you could see when it was off, and all this sort of stuff, I think that would probably be a thing. I found an article, and we'll get it linked, that has pictures and a lot more information on it versus some of the other HuffPost ones and stuff like that take the bits and pieces and don't talk about but what about scarring or
that's all sciencey. That one.
Yeah. But I like the idea because I know a couple guys that have had vasectomies reversed. And I think that anytime a person can avoid going under the knife, it's probably a good deal. But their guys are freaked out about neutering their dogs. So the idea of them, doing, stuff down there to themselves more than once, I would love to spare them that if we could. But I love the idea of really reliable birth control without forever surgery on either side.
Yeah, it's not hormone based, which is good.
I love that.
If they can work, if they can work out scarring issues and maintenance issues because there's going through there. But like I said, almost everyone I know that has gone through a vasectomy, it said that they had worked themselves up. They did it because it was the right thing to do, but they were, and afterwards, really, that's what in the world I was freaked out about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have some tough times a little bit afterwards, but it's doable.
As long as you can have someone bring you a bag of frozen peas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, it was, not only have I been at the births of 9 of my friends' children and lots of other things, one of my friends, after they had their last child and her husband had a vasectomy, she had to go out of town, and they had the baby was still young and all that sort of stuff. So I actually went over so that I could take care of the baby and, I could switch out. I handed him the bag of peas, but I did get to, I'm like, I was entrusted with the, baby and post-vasectomy care.
That's pretty cool. Okay, I got a good vasectomy, quick one for you. So my sister and her husband tried for 4 years to get their first one. Their second one came 18 months later. Okay, so she's got whatever. And then I think it was 3 years later, they had the third one. Okay, so and in the 80s in California, they lived in Northern California at the time. And they still do, if you're married, they have the wife sign off on this whole thing. So her husband was a very busy, successful business person. What?
Wait.
What?
A guy needs permission to get a vasectomy?
From his wife if he's married in California at that time. I think they still have that here. They make it's kind of like if you're a female wanting to get abortion and you're married, they make the husband sign off. I wish people could see the look on her face right now.
Sorry.
Yep.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. So that's was the situation. So John was a very busy businessman, is still, but at the time it was crazy nuts, and he needed to come on, let's get this done, as if he was going to go and do agility training after this anyway. But I digress. So they're waiting. No, Mr. Arnest, we can't do anything until your wife gets here. They heard them coming. So here she's got a 3-year-old, an 18-month-old, and she's 8 months pregnant. And they said, well, and she can't just sign and we can get started. She's got to go through this whole process of education and whatever. She walked in the door and Oli's screaming, Eric's screaming, and they said, okay, just sign here, Mrs. Arnett. Just handed her the frickin' pen and said, all right, let's get this done. But I mean, I just thought that was kind of funny. It was like, yeah, maybe not so much. But no.
No, no, because I mean, if you're a single guy, do you have to get your parents' permission? Well, how does that?
No.
No.
But if you're married, you have to get the other party.
That's bullshit. Okay,
well, it is what it is. One just quick thing. I forgot about this one. I think this is hysterical. Colleen, I know you'll have something to say on this before we get to our 11 new sex slang terms that are freaking great. In Orange County, which is where I'm born and raised, I even went to kindergarten and first grade in Huntington Beach, which is where the story hails from. There was a group of nudists there that have been renting out a health club, the Huntington Beach City Gym and Pool, for the last 8-9 years. Nudists for private gatherings where they played basketball, volleyball, and went swimming naked. Well, the city manager got wind of it, Fred Wilson, and he pushed forth a regulation banning gymnasium nudity. So you are no longer allowed, even in a private party situation where you've rented a facility, to be naked and lift weights.
So in other words, the folks in Virginia, Minnesota have are
more Huntington Beach
are more liberal than Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
That guy needs to join this century.
Right? Okay, so that's the last thing in the news. Okay, guys, this is cracking me absolutely up. These are 11 new sex slang terms. And Megan, I want to know, you have to tell the truth, how many of these you already knew?
All right.
Okay, because they come courtesy of your generation. Number 1, possibly my favorite, postponed. When you're running late because of an unexpected sexual encounter.
I like that. I have not.
I'm sorry, I'm postponed. And everybody goes, oh, you're good. I'll wait for you. Good for you. Good for you. Side chick. That's the other woman or mistress. Mm-hmm. You heard that one?
That one I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that was new, but okay.
Snatch chat. That's the female equivalent of a dick pic instead of a Snapchat. That's cute. Doppelbanger.
They got me.
That's when you have sex with someone because they really look like someone else you want to bang. Okay, this one I did not do my deep Googling on this one. I'm just going to put it out there because I'm afraid somebody else is going to know what it means. Truffle butter. It's a Nicki Minaj song. And they wouldn't even talk about it in this particular article, which we're going to link on our page.
Well, isn't that like Santorum?
It could be. But it's supposed to be super gross, and it's on urbandictionary.com, so I just thought I'd leave that to someone else.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Moving.
I'm sure it's related to Santorum.
Okay. Sascrotch?
Sascrotch.
That's when the bush or manscaping has gone way out of control or it's way overdue. Oh my God, I saw that Sascrotch and I ran.
Oh, like Sasquatch.
Sascrotch.
I was imagining marinara in your pants.
No.
Gotcha.
We're talking bush gone wild. Powerballing. Anyone?
Something you have terrible odds at winning.
or being able to do according to what it really is. Gyrating your balls during sex. It sounds very Cirque du Soleil to me. But some guys apparently are able to affect this swirling motion while doing the other motion, which it's kind of the dick equivalent of being ambidextrous, I think.
Yeah, I'm guessing on the position, it's like you could really get the pendulum swinging there.
Yeah. Colleen is searching. She's like,
all I'm
scanning.
thinking is that if, as long as you, keep going, clockwise and counterclockwise, because you don't want to twist it up too tight.
That would be bad. That could be a 911 call. Netflix and chill we've talked about on the station or talked about here on the show, but that's basically code for I want to come over, we'll put in a movie and start having sex within 5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Intercourse, spelled 2 words, COARSE. Anyone? Rough sex.
Oh, okay.
Clever. Okay, this one cracks me up. Master weight. That's while your computer's buffering while you're trying to yank off to porn. This shit's clever.
I like
this
that
is good
one.
Stuff.
Yeah, that one.
Still postponed and Sascrotch are waiting for me.
Yeah.
And the last one's a little bit of a letdown after all of the rest of this. Hotline Bling.
That's a booty call, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the song.
It's
Yeah.
updated.
Yeah.
It's updated.
I'm really the postponed. I'm surprised that I don't know if we ever had a term. We just knew when certain couples disappeared or were showing up late what they were doing. I don't know if we had a term for it.
The worst is when you show up at a party and like your hair's all crazy, you got this one clump sticking straight up, and you didn't realize it. Hey, what's cool? What were you guys doing? Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, postponed.
Your dread begs to differ back there.
So yeah, I mean, I just thought those were really great, and I love the creativity with most of them.
I guess the moral is I do not have my finger on the pulse of my generation,
or in the butthole of the new slang.
Yep, exactly.
I like postponed. I have to admit the Sasquatch Butch or whatever. That's hard. Sascrotch. That okay. I had to think. Yeah,
it's funny stuff.
But I mean, the bush is back, so I'm not exactly sure.
It's true.
I think we're in transition where some people are still really attached to the very clean shaven or clean whatever. I think it, it's just like clothes. I don't know if we talked about. I think we did last week on the show a little bit. Clothing, there is no particular. Trends are all over, and I think the same holds true for.
That's what I keep explaining to my mom, and I have for like a decade. I said, if you like it, wear it. I don't.
Doesn't matter if it's in or out.
I have this year. I've embraced the fuzzy cardigan.
Sweet.
And I realized that I had them like years ago, and then I put them away.
Yeah.
Now I've embraced the cardigan. I've been and like I said, there's a particular type of jeans I like. I don't care if they're supposed to be a dark jean or supposed to be a light jean, or if you're not supposed to have decorative stuff on your pockets anymore. If you find a pair of jeans that fits your ass, and you like buy those jeans.
Yeah.
You don't care who's going through there. If you like it and it's comfortable, wear the damn thing.
Or in great Northern Sexcast terms, if you like it and it's consensual, do it.
Yeah, do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing.
And buy the shit to make it more fun as fantasy gifts.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, awesome show as always. Again, a lot of really good characters coming up on the stations. Did we miss anything? Is there anything of import that we need to talk to you about the stores going on right now?
Well, we've got a couple things. We're getting ready for, for Valentine's, of course.
Yeah.
But we're gonna. The other day, I was poking around my website, and I went. There was some. When we were building it, there was a spot where like sign up for a newsletter. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh God! For years, we would put out sign up sheets. No one in Minnesota would ever sign up for anything. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, why do I do? Why do I want to do this? And I'm like, how many people, have actually signed up for this? And I found out that 167 people have signed up for a newsletter that I've never sent out.
Oh my!
And so I'm like, well, what should we do here? And then we have a whole bunch of merchandise. We're thinking about putting together some gift baskets. Neat. And we're like, well, Facebook is tough now, and a lot of things are tough now. And so we're working on it. We don't have it ready, but we'll have it on our on the Facebook pages and on our social media and stuff like that. But we're going to have a sign up for the newsletter. And believe me, we've had the website for almost 2 years, and I haven't sent one out. So this is not going to be an everyday thing. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be working on a very short monthly newsletter, probably explaining the product of the month, probably with a small coupon code, probably maybe with a what's new and maybe a fun fact. I mean, very small thing. I'm not sending out a dissertation on what's going on, but because we discovered that if you sign up, I figured, Tara put in her email and it popped up on top, so I know who started, who's already been there, who's going to be going on. So I'm like, maybe I will write a newsletter.
Or something about like sex toy cleaners or something that some of us civilians don't know. I mean, like this stuff is kind of cool.
But I'm gonna keep it. It's like I said, it's gonna be at the most once a month, and so we're gonna be doing it 2 things. I know what number we were at. So I'm going to have a giveaway for the folks that have been patiently waiting.
The early adopters.
And then I'm going to have a giveaway for the folks that, join in afterwards. Because we can track this. And like I said, if it took me, there's been a lot of stuff going on. This is not, I'm not going to be bombarding you like Target does or Cub does or anyone else.
Macy's.
Or anyone like that. No, believe me. It's, once a month. At the most, very short. We're going to work on a template, so it all, there's the continuity to it, and going through there.
So fun facts, you could even throw something in from the podcast, and then make a quick note to check us out on the podcast too. That'd be kind of
fun fact. Master weight is
see, you got 11 weeks, you got 11 months right there. You got the year done.
Yeah, new sex term of the month. But like I said, I said, how many people are there? And I'm like, I mean, mind you, we have 1,000 people at the website and only 167 people. So it's like it sort of does tell me that, most people don't want to, but if you do, I'm going to start doing something. I don't know if it's going to be in February or March, but we're working. I'm like, well, there was something I figured out.
Yeah. So sign up, try to win some free stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 more shows left until Valentine's Day, guys. So we really got to get the ramp up. So let's plan on next week, giving the early adopters ideas. And then on the 9th, we got to say, come buy your shit because it's like 4 days away. Okay? 3 days away, whatever.
Yeah,
okay?
And hopefully, it looks like the weather's going to be good. And I'm just really glad that my brother got all the snow before Valentine's.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it was really adorable. Since he's a Midwesterner, what he did is he put plywood down on his stairs so that the snow would go on it and the kids could have a sledding run.
Sweet.
Down their back deck. He lives out in Jersey, and so they got smacked with snow. So this is what Midwesterners do when they're surrounded by snow. They prepare for it by getting fun. I'm like, oh, that is so awesome.
And Fantasy Gifts East is doing great.
Yeah, they're doing great. They've got their own website too. You can find it when you go to fantasygifts.com because they do have. I mean, it's South Jersey versus Minnesota. These are people who just want different things. So we decided that that we needed to have a dual website. So, but it's all there. I mean, they'll ship it from their stores, or we'll ship it from ours, or we've got our partners, website and stuff like that. So we'll try and get it to you.
So the moral of the story is go to the website, newsletter subscribers. You could get some good free stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, next week we'll be back. And like I said, keep us tuned, tweet about us. Check us out on the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page. Send us your questions, your ideas for shows, topics, and guests. And have a great week, you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great week.